everybody. I'm coming to you, not really live, I guess, by the time you watch this, from my messy living room, my home gym, as it were, because we have a pretty tiny house. I'm getting ready to do my morning workout, but I just wanted to share a little bit about my journey, my weight loss journey specifically, and why I decided to become a Beachbody coach. I grew up in Texas with a single mom, and I've been overweight my whole life. And my mom was overweight for most of my life. So we kind of, I modeled her behavior. We didn't have fruits and vegetables around the house to snack on. I didn't really eat vegetables regularly until I met my husband when I was 23, 24 years old. So I lived off potatoes. I lived off mayonnaise and liverwurst spread on crackers. I remember eating butter sandwiches when I was a kid. Literally bread spread with butter, and that's it. These are the kind of things I ate as snacks and as meals when I was a kid. So it's no surprise that I was overweight. I had always tried diet and exercise programs growing up. I tried everything, Weight Watchers, multiple times. Atkins and, Body for Life and this and that. And I tried the fad stuff. I got injections and I had to take shakes and all this other stuff, that's just, you follow this plan and you will lose weight, and that works for about 2 weeks, and then it's not maintainable at all. And I was at a point where exercise was really uncomfortable. My knees hurt, my feet hurt, my back hurt. I was embarrassed to go outside with my husband. He was fit and thin and healthy, and we wanted to do stuff together, and I got a bike, and we were going to do a bike rides all the time, and it was going to be great, and we rode the bikes a couple times, and then I was just, sorry, I can't do it. And I felt really bad, but obviously not bad enough that I made a change, and I regret that. My mom, modeling behavior, she was 35 when I was born. And I see pictures of her from when I'm a kid, and she was pretty healthy and she was fit. And I never knew that side of my mom, because as early as I can remember, my mom was overweight. And so to see those pictures of her really kind of confused me. What happened? What changed? When I was 33, I guess, I got pregnant with my son. And I weighed 220 pounds when I got pregnant. So very different from my mom. I was not fit and healthy. I was very overweight. And I gained about 35 pounds during my pregnancy, which is not terrible. Not great, but not terrible. And I lost most of it pretty quickly. And I fit back into my pre-pregnancy jeans for about a day. And then I started gaining weight again. And by my son's first birthday, I was back up to almost 260 pounds. It's embarrassing and it's depressing, and I was sad, and my husband was sad, because we'd envisioned this family life that involved the three of us going on hikes together and going on bike rides together and hanging out at the park together and just being active together. And my husband thought that he would have to be a single parent, either because we couldn't do those things together or because I literally wasn't there. So in January of 2013, I decided to undergo lap band surgery. And I was worried that a lot of people would say that's the easy way out. It's a cheat, that it's doing it for you. And it's not. It's really hard. You have to exercise. You have to be very regimented about what you eat. I have to eat protein first at every meal, because if I get full, that's the macronutrient that's going to keep me going. And because I can eat so little, my metabolism takes a dive, and so I have to work out to keep my metabolism running, or else I'm just not going to lose weight. These surgeries fail because it's not about the surgery. It's about what you do afterward. They're just a tool. Just like any other weight loss tool. Granted, a more extreme tool, but when you're at the end of your rope and you've tried lots of other things and you see your future and it's scary, you're open to these sorts of things. And maybe at this point in my life, I would have made a different choice, but I'm still happy with the choice I made. So it's been about a year and a half since I had surgery, and I'm still pro-surgery. I started running after my surgery, or more accurately, I started walking. I did Walk Away the Pounds videos in my living room, And when I was able to get up to walking in place for 5 miles, I started running. I started couch to 5K, and I would go to the gym and I would get on the treadmill and I'd run for 30 seconds and then I'd walk. And then I'd run for a minute and then I'd walk. And eventually I was able to run for 40 minutes at a time. And in October of last year, I completed my first half marathon. Something else that happened in 2013, my mom had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes when I was in high school, and it seemed like no big deal to her. It's like, oh, I have a headache. Oh, I have type 2 diabetes. She wasn't going to go on any medication. She was going to manage it with her diet, and for a long time she did. But eventually she had to start insulin, and my mom never made a lot of money. She was a single parent for me growing up, and she worked 2 jobs, and later on she had lots of hip and knee problems and was uninsured, so she was living with my brother for a time and then my sister, and she just had all sorts of other health problems in addition to the diabetes. So she gradually went further and further downhill, and a couple of years ago she had to start dialysis. So her kidneys had completely failed from the diabetes. Her body couldn't filter out all the waste in her system anymore, and so she had to start going several times a week for several hours at a time, and she would sit in a chair hooked up to a machine. She had a port in her skin that they would hook her up to, and this machine would just recycle her blood for her and take out all the stuff that her kidneys couldn't take out anymore. And she wasn't happy. She had reached a point where her body wasn't working for her anymore. She was sad, and she felt really alone, and last August she died. And at this point I had lost 60 pounds, and I felt like I was on the right path. But it's easy to be convinced that you don't need help anymore. And so I was still only eating little meals that my surgery dictated, but I started eating crappy food, junk food, fatty food, stuff that I really shouldn't have been eating. And after I ran my half marathon, I was, so successful that I scaled back the amount of running I did, and my weight sort of plateaued, and I didn't think anything of it. But when my mom died, it was kind of like, she was healthy when I was born, and I was not healthy when my son was born. So how much further down the path that she was on am I? How much sooner am I going to leave my family? So I needed to make a change. I needed to get serious about my diet. I needed to get serious about exercise. I needed to get training again. I needed to get focused. I had been a Beachbody customer for a long time. P90X, Insanity, all of them, Les Mills Pump. I had bought them all, and they're kind of things where you're like, yes, I'm all fired up. I'm going to look just like the people in the commercial, and then you do it for a couple of days, you're like, oh, I'm really sore, I'm done. That's a really expensive way to exercise. But as a result of, everything with my mom and my surgery and me getting more physically active and running, and I found how good I felt when I exercised and when being healthy, and how good I felt being with my family, being able to be outside with my family together. My husband started running, and my son now tries on our running shoes and plays soccer, and it's changed all of our lives, not just mine. So I've been looking for a way to be more involved in health and fitness community. I started a blog. I started writing about my races and my training. Earlier this year, I decided to get my personal training certification, and I'm studying for that. And when you are a journalism major in college, studying chapter after chapter of human anatomy is really hard. Like the way your bones bend and. But another decision I made was to become a Beachbody coach. There are lots of, direct sales and multi-level marketing and whatever you want to call them out there. But I don't see Beachbody as that. I see it as a company invested in changing people's lives, in ending the trend of obesity. You'll hear that a lot, end the trend. Because ultimately, you know, yes, they're selling a product, they're selling a business opportunity, but it's not a gimmick. It's not a wrap that'll shrink you in 10 days and that'll be permanent weight loss. And it's not a pill that you can take that'll make you poop out all your fat. It's hard work. They're selling you hard work and people are paying for it, you know. You have to be committed to this eating plan and you have to be committed to this exercise to see the results. So they're not selling a quick fix. You know, they're selling something real. They're selling a life change. And so that appealed to me, you know. If I could help people along their journey the same way that I've been helped, you know, and make money in the process, of course, it sounded like a perfect opportunity. And the company's emphasis isn't on sales. It's about changing lives. If you don't buy a product, fine. It's not right for you. Awesome. Whatever works for you, works for you. But I believe in the products. I believe in the company. I believe in the support I've gotten from everyone. And I want to change people's lives because I don't want anyone to go through what I went through and what my mom went through. You know, now's the time to change. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a crier. It's time for me to go work out. Today is cardio fix for 21-day fix. And then I'm going to go make my Shakeology because you have to be a product of the product. Anyway, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to share more about my story, and I hope those pictures of me before didn't scar you too much. But thanks.